Yo guys, welcome back to a brand new video and the start of Season 2 of my F1 2019 career mode here today for the Australian Grand Prix. If you guys missed the last episode 21, the end of Season 1, go watch the video guys by clicking the link in the top right hand corner of your screen. But today guys, we are here for the start of a new season and we have nice sunny conditions this weekend, which is absolutely fantastic. But overall, it's been a pretty interesting winter. There was a regulation change, as you guys know, on the chassis, and things have changed a bit. So in terms of upgrades, we have 3 aerodynamic upgrades, 2 major ones, and 1 ultimate one for the drag. So a massive aerodynamic improvement on the car. There was meant to be a chassis one, but for some reason, it hasn't registered. I purchased one for the weight redistribution, and it hasn't carried over, which is quite weird. So my points have gone, but the upgrade hasn't been applied, and I'm convinced that I did buy it. And matter of fact, I'm going to show you guys the footage now from when I did the upgrade in the last episode, because for some reason it's not on my screen. We'll go for this one here and we'll get that on the car as well, just sort of bonus upgrade, which I didn't think we'd be able to afford, and hopefully that does arrive, doesn't fail. And it kind of did fail in a way because it never made it onto the car. So not quite sure what happened there. We should have had a little upgrade, and that little upgrade might have just taken us above Toro Rosso over the winter. But overall, we are the biggest gaining team over the winter with that triple upgrade, and also protecting all of our chassis upgrades. So therefore, we lost no performance on the chassis. And Mercedes still lead the way, but Red Bull are neck and neck with them. And Red Bull are the second best team to improve along with us. But overall, you can see how close we are to McLaren now compared to the season before, and we are firmly a midfield team now, which is absolutely fantastic. And straight away, I can tell you guys, the car feels like a midfield car, a really decent car. In terms of driver transfers this season, quite a big one, because there's been a bit of a merry-go-round. So Raikkonen has gone back to McLaren, actually, which is quite surprising, and that's made Grosjean go back to Haas. But in the process, Raikkonen has been replaced to Alpha by Ricciardo, and Stroll has taken Ricciardo's place at Renault. So yeah, and of course with Stroll leaving, that leaves a space of Racing Point, and Magnussen, who's left Haas, has actually gone to Racing Point. So quite a weird one, to be fair. Grosjean's gone back to his original team, and Raikkonen's gone back to a team he used to race at not too long ago, about 15 years ago now. So yeah, Raikkonen back in a McLaren, Grosjean back in the Haas, and yeah, overall quite interesting one. Magnussen in the Racing Point, him and Perez in the same team could be quite a fiery combination, to be fair. And then you've got Hülkenberg and Stroll in Renault, so quite an interesting change in driver lineups. The big teams remain unchanged for this season though, and so does Williams, and Kubica is still our teammate. But straight away, we jumped into practice, and I can tell you straight off the rip, the car was phenomenal. On 110% AR, we're running 100 this weekend, and the car was just on another level. It was fantastic. Like we scored a maximum 345 out of 345 R&D points, and I could just put the car wherever it wanted to go and it would just drive fantastically well. You know, I could just throw it in and it would stick, and I was very happy. And we've got a car here that we can now start to really lean on and push the limits, and you know, find that extra tenth or two and really try to maximize it, because the car does what I tell it to do, and that's fantastic. So I'm looking forward to also continue to improve this car. Hopefully we'll put some upgrades on in this very episode, because I want to try to improve the chassis, because obviously now the regulation, the R&D regulation reset has taken place. We can now improve there, and I can tell you after practice I seem to have tyre wear issues. I'm guessing it's the same for everybody else, but with the faster cars it seems to have given us more tyre wear, so we need to improve that straight away after this race. So we're going to do that at the end of this episode, hopefully, if we have enough R&D points. But we're going to hit the track here in qualifying, and we're going to get straight to work here, because I feel very confident we can get into Q2, and I mean comfortably, because we've got the car for it. And after practice, I was 3rd quickest in FP1 after the qualifying simulation runs, so I feel very confident. So straight away, we're on our first run here in Q1, and even this run was absolutely phenomenal. You can see in the bottom right, because of the ultimate drag upgrade, our straight line speed is so much better this season, and we jump up to 8th place, 1.1 off the pace, but we were comfortably in. But I went out again just as a precaution with 2.5 minutes to go as we dropped down the P9, because you never know, others could improve and we might just get caught out. So I'm not going to take a chance. I'm going to go for one more lap, and I'm going to stay on board for the entirety of this lap here at Albert Park, as we straight away throw the car into turn 1, carrying the speed on the exit, and now down the straight. So far so good as we go towards turn 3, looking for the wall on the left hand side to finish. You see a little gap in the wall, and that's kind of my reference to brake down to second gear, and then really run the car over the curb down the left hander to really maximise the turn in, and then flat out through this right hander. So far so good. Now looking for the start of sector 2, throwing it into this all right hand, a little bit of a lock up on the front left there, and that cost me about 0.2 of a second there. I just nicked the wheel on the grass, making me lock up, and at this point I was thinking whether to back out or not, because I was still confident with my lap, and ultimately I want to try and save the engine from the first race, and you know what, in the end I decided to stick with it because I actually nailed the next few corners. You can see here, we've actually made up some of that deficit and we're still making it up now as we go through the fast chicane. Absolutely love this corner, and we've actually pretty much recovered all of our deficit now, so I'm going to stick with it and try to push on because I know there's some lap time here in this final sector if I get it right. And straight away you can see here, getting a fantastic run through that right hander, and again through this next one, just missing the apex slightly there, but we still carry some good speed. But this time we break a lot later into that left hander there and find a 1/10 of a second, and now we get a beautiful line through the final corner, opening up the DRS, and we improve by over a 10th, pretty much a 10.5 as we run up to the line, and it is going to be P7 for us with a minute to go in the Q1 session, and within a second of Lewis Hamilton and the fastest cars on track. That was a fantastic lap, and we are through into Q2, and we actually remained in 7th place. Meanwhile, Robert Kubica only in P19, and we were so much quicker than him, literally half a second, if not more, and very, very, just comfortable. The midfield is close, but we was comfortably through the Q2, and the car was fantastic. In Q2, though, I went out on a used set of rubber on my first run, which was the tyres that I used on my second run in Q1, and we invalidated over the fast chicane. Unfortunately, we ran a bit too wide, so it's all or nothing with this lap. 2 minutes to go. I've strapped on the fresh rubber, and can I get myself into Q3 in the first race of the season here in Season 2? And we still have the penultimate worst car on the grid, so this would be something special if I could pull this out of the bag. So let's see how we get on. Straight away, turns 1 and 2, absolutely, I nailed it through there. The car was just sticking to the track. Now braking for turn 3 again, keeping it nice and tight, nice and tidy this time through there, and then bringing the car over to the left, tapping the inside curb to get the rotation, and then smoothly on the power, flat out through the next right. And now the sector 1 comes to an end, and you're now looking for the start of sector 2, going down a few gears here to 4th, and use all the curb on the left there to really maximise your exit out of that corner. Flat out through the fast right, and now once again brake as the wall disappears on the left hand side, down to 3rd gear, and then shortly back up to 4th on a short shift, and try and get the power down as quick as possible as we go onto the back straight. And so far it's been a perfect lap up until this point, and we're only 3/10 down on Hamilton as we throw the car into the fast chicane, carrying all the speed, running wide to the curb. Beautiful line, not one correction so far in this lap as we now look for the break point and brake just before the 50-meter ball there for this next right-hander, and use all the curb once again on the exit. Throw the car into the next one, tap the inside curb preferably if you can, and then get the power, and then brake at the meter ball on the right-hand side, down to 1st gear actually to get some rotation, and then on the power as soon as possible through this final corner. Use all the curb you want on the exit without running too wide, otherwise you will get invalidated. And this has been a fantastic lap, and we cross the line and go 8th place and 6/10 off of Lewis Hamilton in a Williams. A fantastic lap, 2/10 quicker than the lap we did in Q1, and we pulled it out the bag when it mattered the most, and we are in to Q3 in the first race of the season, and it was comfortable by 4/10 over Perez, who was the nearest car to me. We was actually beaten by Raikkonen, and we was not too far behind the Ferrari, Sebastian Vettel either, so very comfortably into Q3, but unfortunately our good run came to an end because in Q3 this was my only fresh set of rubber, and I went out and I was the last car to cross the line, and I've got to be honest, the lap was even better than the Q2 lap up until this point. I was even quicker, and you'll see now when we cross the second sector split, we were only 3/10 down once again. It was such a good lap, but unfortunately through the fast chicane I turned in a little bit too early and we picked up an invalidation, so unfortunately that lap is not going to count. And yeah, you see me back off there at the end of the straight and turn the engine down, but unfortunately for us there is no time set in Q3. I only had one fresh set of tyres left, and we're going to start from P10 unfortunately. But looking at the lap times, we did a 0.7 in Q2, and Raikkonen did that 0.7 once again, so it would have been very close between myself and Kimi. But based off of the first 2 sector times, when I compared them in the race director, we was quicker, so it could have been possible. We know we do lose most of our time in Sector 3, but even then, I was confident I could have achieved P7 here today, but still, a massive improvement, a Q3 appearance, and I feel confident with the car's pace going into the race tomorrow. But yeah, guys, that is it for Qualify 1, and we're now going to move into the race for Round 1 of Season 2 for the Australian Grand Prix.
They say that even a second is an eternity in Formula One, so going 4 winter months with no racing at all has seemed a very long time indeed. We're back though in Melbourne, home of the Australian Grand Prix since 1996. The Melbourne circuit is certainly one that needs to be taken seriously. Its combination of slippery surfaces and difficult corners make it a tricky track when it comes to overtakes. Drivers find it hard to pass and will need to take full advantage of those DRS zones if they want to have any hope of breaking through. I'm joined today in the commentary box, as I will be throughout this season, by a great racing driver, former F1 competitor, former world champion, and as he tells me all too often, an all-round top chap. It's the one and only Anthony Davidson. And tell me, here we are, first Grand Prix of the season, first time racing these cars. What are the big questions that need to be answered here, in your view?
Oh, thanks, Crofty. It's a real privilege to be here, and I can't wait to see what's in store for us this season. Now, to answer your question, one of the biggest things is reliability. Formula One cars are full of very sophisticated but also very sensitive technology, and this first Grand Prix of the season is going to push them to the limits. So the most important thing today is to stay out of trouble, get to the end of the race and keep everything in good condition.
Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks for today's race. Lewis Hamilton lines up on pole position and Valtteri Bottas will line up alongside. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Verstappen, Gasly, Sebastian Vettel and Leclerc, Raikkonen, Perez, Norris and Martinez, Sainz, Ricciardo, Roman Grosjean and Albon, Kvyat, Magnussen, Antonio Giovinazzi and Nico Hülkenberg, Kubica and Lance Stroll brings the grid to a close. And with lights out just moments away, it's time to go down to the track.
Right guys, it's time for the start of Season 2 and we start from P10 on the grid. Not the best qualifying in Q3. Overall it was a great qualifying session on Saturday, but the Q3 part let us down, and it's a shame because that final lap was actually fantastic and I was on for a spectacular lap time. Having said that, I feel confident that I can still achieve best of the rest here today. It is going to come down to strategy a little bit, in terms of what tyre we go on, because the tyre wear has increased a bit with the upgrades, and I'm not so sure I can do a soft medium. The team recommends a soft hard. I can't actually do soft medium on the strategy because my tyres don't go long enough. So if we have to run the hard tyre, then so be it. I still feel confident that we've got enough pace to do it. And, my qualifying pace showed that I should have at least had best of the rest. In terms of fuel, we're running one extra lap of fuel, and the target is to get that 7th place at minimum. I want to try and score big points off the get-go, off the rip, and do well, because the next 3 races aren't going to be so easy. We're going to struggle around Bahrain, China and Baku, so we need points here today because we might not score big points until Spain. Therefore, it's important to have a good race, and I feel confident we can do it. I'm going to try and be aggressive and get a good start. It's rare that I start on soft tyres, so that's going to give me a bit of an advantage for a change. And yeah, overall, we're going to try our best and try and score some decent points. With that being said, we're going to jump into it here for round 1 of Season 2 for the Australian Grand Prix. Let's get racing. Here we go. The 5 red lights come on here at Melbourne, Australia. Revs up to the optimal zone, and it's a very quick 5 lights, and we actually get caught out. We do have a very good second phase of the start though, and we recover quite nicely down the inside of Norris into turn 1. Perez getting out of shape here in the racing point. We're going to get the slipstream on him hopefully. Gaining quite nicely here, that racing point quite good on the straight. We're going to go down the inside regardless though into turn 3. Side by side with Perez here. We're going to be on the outside for turn 4, but we are going to make the move. What a start. We had an initial poor getaway, but the second phase was fantastic. We recovered very nicely, getting some good traction down, and then very aggressive through 1, 2, 3 and 4. Looks like these Red Bulls here holding everybody up at the moment, as even Raikkonen's on the back of the cars in front. We are going to close up quite a lot on the brake zone there. The Ferraris are going to be interesting this race because I know they've not got a lot of pace, as Perez is starting again, and I say I've got to turn the engine up just to stay in front of the racing point. But yeah, the Ferraris aren't that quick, so I think they could be vulnerable. I can definitely get past Kimi as well. We know that for a fact based off of qualifying pace. But the Red Bulls here going side by side. Meanwhile, as the Mercedes start to break away already, the Red Bulls though should have pace because after the winter they've gained massive amounts on Mercedes and they're pretty much equal in the development graph. As look at that, the Ferraris now going side by side here. Leclerc and Sebastian Vettel duking it out, and Kimi is looking racy here against his former team. We're gaining though on the straight all the time. That towards turn 1. I want to go to the outside, try and switch back underneath, and that's going to put me right on the back of Raikkonen here. We've got the straight line speed advantage. We're going to pull to the inside. There's just about enough room. Slow it down. Oh, that was close. I had to go very late on the brakes there, and we made it work though. We almost collected Leclerc, but we're up to P7. Best of the rest. What a start from us. Really, really aggressive. Lately, my starts, going back to like the midway point of last season, our starts have been very good. I seem to have found something in the race start procedure finally after like a year and a half of F1 games. I'm starting to get some good launches off the line. But yeah, overall a fantastic start here, and what a performance so far, and what a weekend, and I definitely think we can get best of the rest. Now we've got P7, we can control the race, which is important. So let's get our head down, and let's try and see if we can keep up with these Ferraris as long as we possibly can before they eventually start to break away.
Race officials have enabled DRS. DRS is now available.
Okay, DRS available, so we need a big lap here. I need to try and pull out a 1 second gap to Kimi Räikkönen, so hopefully we've got the pace for that. Kimi's in the back of me here. He's going to have DRS and try and make the move. I'm thinking he's not close enough for turn 1, so we should be able to take the racing line. I think my front left is overheating, at least that's what it feels like. I'll confirm it now. Yes, it is. That's the problem with the soft tyres in the first part of the race. They can overheat very easily, so I've got to try and take it a little bit easier on these left-handers and try and push the right-handers more. Personal best. Tyres managed to cool down a bit on that lap and still set a good pace. We're starting to pull away a little bit now from the midfield runners. You can see the top 10 pretty much. McLaren, Racing Point and Haas behind me. I could go a little bit quicker than this, but like I said, I'm trying to keep my front left under control, so I've got to do a bit of management until we get into the hard tyres, then we'll be able to push flat out. Kimi's putting the pressure on. My pace isn't great, I can't lie. This is why I don't really often start the race on the softer tyre, because I do struggle quite a bit. We need a bit of an upgrade in terms of tyre wear. Having said that, also my race pace tends to be better historically. Normally I'm quicker in race pace compared to qualifying, but again, running this time, running at a slower pace, it's kind of sacrificing my true race pace. But once we go to the next tyre, we'll be okay. I've just got to hold on to 7th place until then, and we should be okay. So yeah, it's just about whether I can stretch it to a medium. I'd like to do that if I still could, but I really don't think I've got the pace, so I think I'm going to have to just run the hard tyre and run that tyre into the ground, to be honest. But Kimi's got good pace here, he's starting to regain.
We're approaching the pit window, you'll be on the hards.
A little bit deep into turn 1 there, struggling with my overheating left front, it's made me run a little bit deep. Kimi's got the slipstream, I want to cover the inside. Show him the long way round. Comfortably stay in front. If one of the cars behind attacked Kimi, that'd be it. That'd give me the chance to pull away and break away. But until then, they're all just going single file, which is kind of frustrating for me.
Some information on Gasly. They seem to have an issue.
Okay then, so straight away, in the first race, as we take a huge lock up there, one of the cars in front, one of the top 6, has car trouble. Pierre Gasly in this case. Kimi's on me again here. I'm really struggling for that left.
We advise moving to mix 2. Fuel to mix 2.
Kimi to the outside, but no way through there. That final corner is catching me out because I'm overheating my left front, so it's giving me so much understeer. And as a consequence, it's ruining my straight line speed down the straight. Having said that, they're now battling behind, which is good. So now's my chance to pull away. This is what I wanted. Now the opening is here. Okay, 1.2 clear of Räikkönen. We've pulled out of DRS range. I can now save some ERS because I'm clear. I can use it in none through here and get away with it. Gasly up front now. The next car, and I think we should be able to get up to the back of him. So let's get after him. Right, here we go then. We're going to pit in this lap. Gasly stays out because Verstappen pits in. So we're going to undercut the struggling Red Bull anyway. Get it all slowed down. It's a very slow pit lane, this one, 60 kilometers an hour. Yellow flag on the pit straight here, and one of the McLarens just slowed down on the pit straight. This is interesting. Here we go into the pit box though. Quick stop from the boys, please.
Complete, go now.
1.8, and Räikkönen is out of the race. Our biggest challenger is out, and he's going to pull over just in front of us here.
Up to speed now. Let's get some heat into those tyres.
There's Kimi pulling over as we go to the hard tyres and rejoin behind Charles Leclerc down in P18.
Green flag.
If there'd been a VSC, that would have been absolutely fantastic to really help us out, but still. Let's try and switch these hard tyres on and get up to speed as quick as we can and conserve our best of the rest position. Or maybe even get P6 ahead of Gasly. That would be great. Kubica pits in along with a few other cars. Seems like there are going to be a few split strategies here. So we'll see what happens. But onto the pit straight, and there's a racing point, even the pit exit. Is that Perez? Yes, it is. And he's on mediums. So there you go. Already some strategy contrast. That was Perez, who's battling for best of the rest with us. He's gone more aggressive and onto the medium tire. So we're going to be at a disadvantage. But the good thing is I can push, like I said, every single lap on this tire, because it's not going to wear and it's not going to overheat. So this is going to be an interesting battle, this.
Some information on Leclerc. They have some kind of mechanical problem.
Oh boy. Another one bites the dust. And it's another one of the heavy hitters, as we've got more cars in the pit lane, quite a few this time. And Leclerc has car issues now, along with Gasly. Look at this, we're going to gain a handful of places, up to 9th place. Matching our personal best. Gasly's in the pit lane there, so we've overtaken him, which is good. So if we can get past Leclerc, we'll be in a net P5.
It seems they fixed whatever the problem was. They're coming back up to speed.
That might be for Gasly. Hopefully it's not Leclerc. I want to have a chance of getting past Leclerc first. But that's for Gasly then. He's on medium, so he's going to start fighting his way back through now. At the moment, we're keeping the gap to Leclerc around 3.5. He's not really gaining huge amounts on me. I've got good pace in this tyre at the moment. But we'll see what happens as the laps go by. Okay, I think the remaining cars yet to pit do come into the pit lane. As we jump up to P6. Okay, there must be one more at least, or two more. Going very long on this first in. But at the minute, the pace is good. Perez is now starting to gain a little bit. I do wonder if Perez could be on a 2-stop. That's a very long way to go on mediums. A very long way. And even if he does go to the end, I should have the advantage at the end. So I feel confident that I can keep him behind me. Good pace as we're starting to close in on Leclerc now. Perez now getting a move on big time. So I need to try and get past Leclerc before Perez reaches me. So I can buy myself a little bit of time. Here we go then, around the back of Leclerc. Can I get this move on the back straight, or should I wait until after the chicane? He's going to be slow even here on the power. I'm going to try and pass him now if I can, because he's going to cost me too much time for the fast chicane. We're going to go down the inside of the Ferrari, and we're going to get the DRS as well, so that was the best way to do it. I would have lost too much time and all the momentum on the back straight by sitting behind him, so...
Virtual safety car, virtual safety car. Reduce speed immediately and keep a positive delta. Drop your speed, our delta is too low and we risk a penalty. Slow your pace immediately.
No idea where that's come from. Carlos Sainz. Oh wow, so both McLarens out of the first race. Wow.
Virtual safety car is ending. Maintain your pace until the green flag. VSC ending. Wait for green. The track is clear. Green flag.
That was a very, very quick VSC turnaround. It's one of the quickest ones I think I've ever had. But we are past and ahead of Leclerc now. Managed to save a little bit of fuel in the RS, so now let's try and pull away from the Ferrari. Okay, Perez has got past, so he's down the back of us once again. He's going to start chasing us down. The gap has gone up a little bit, but I need my pace to start picking up on these tyres now. They don't feel that great. I'm kind of waiting for the fuel to burn off, so then I can really pick up the pace. Here, guys, he's recovering now quite quickly. He's really flying at the minute. He's probably the quickest car on track, and he's put himself right at the back of Perez here. So again, they might battle. That's going to buy me some time. I'm doing a better lap here. I'm for a personal best, and we do achieve it, which is good. Hopefully Gasly and Perez do battle for a little while, and that's going to buy me some time. Although Gasly, to be fair, has already got past. But Perez returns the favour. There we go. That's good news. That's what we need. That's going to help me out.
We're not going to be able to run in this engine mode much longer. We're about a lap over target. Drop down to mix 2 soon.
Okay, now Gasly's got past, but the gap has gone up to 5.3, which is fantastic. So
They're speeding up again, so I expect they fixed whatever the problem was.
that's Leclerc then. He's also back up to speed. So Gasly and Leclerc back online. They're going to start pushing now. Leclerc's on hard tyres though, so he won't have that advantage like Gasly. Also, the Ferrari isn't as quick, so I think Leclerc won't be a threat. It's all about Gasly now and how much pace he has in those mediums. So can he go to the end of the race in those tyres, or will he have to stop again? Because that medium is going very long on a lot of cars.
Our data meter shows the tyres are okay right now. We anticipate good levels of grip for the next few laps at least.
Decent. I don't really want to look at the tyres, to be honest. I'm just relying on the fact that as the fuel burns off, the car gets lighter. The performance will improve and the tyres won't wear out that much. Gasly's at the minute running at a good pace as we match our personal best. I'm running consistent lap times at the minute. Very consistent. Gap down to 3.5 now. But it's not coming down by a massive amount, which is good. I reckon Gasly will arrive in 3 or 4 laps. We match our personal best. Finally starting to lose a little bit of fuel and the pace is starting to pick up a bit. Gasly 1.7 behind and we've got 8 laps to go. Another good lap. Gasly's just outside of the DRS range as we set 24.4. 1.1 is the gap, but Gasly will be within DRS now, so the defence begins. Oh, bit of oversteer there. Got to be careful putting the power down. Gasly's now definitely within range. Also, Leclerc's not too far behind either, but I don't think he's got enough pace to catch us unless we battle really heavily. Here we go then. What's that Red Bull like with straight line speed? Seems pretty average to me so far, so I'm not even going to use overtake. I'm going to try and save the RS as much as I can, and only deploy when absolutely necessary. So for example, I don't think we need rich mix here. I think we'll be okay. This Williams is much better for straight line speed now. With that ultimate drag upgrade over the winter, it's made a big difference. Got to turn the engine up here, guys. He's very close. I think he's turned his engine up, hence why he's gaining so much.
Pretty much burned off our excess fuel. We'll be back on target soon. Don't wait too long to turn the engine down.
Yeah, look at that Red Bull. He's got so much more straight line speed all of a sudden. Around the outside goes Gasly. We're going to hold the inside line though and keep him behind for now.
There's 5 laps of fuel remaining.
You can definitely notice the difference when that Red Bull turns the engine up. It's actually better than I thought, to be fair, and Leclerc's already gaining quite a bit. Not the best line through there. That's going to put me on the back foot. Here comes Pierre Gasly again. Defensive to the inside we go. A bit of contact there, slight nudge, but we do manage to stay in front once again, and Gasly gets a poor exit as a consequence. Just going to double check my front wing's okay. And we live to fight another day. Here comes Gasly again. We're going to defend the inside one more time. Gasly doesn't even try to go on the outside. I don't know what that was. He just kind of queued up behind me, to be honest.
There's 4 laps of fuel remaining.
So we're going to comfortably stay ahead. Here comes Gasly. Again. Has to defend. I wasn't expecting him to get the run on me there. He just suddenly turned the engine up on that back straight. He's really giving me some pressure now though. He seems like he's turned the engine up. He's going for it one last time here. We've got to make sure our exit's absolutely perfect here. There we go, that's a good exit. Gasly though, right on my gearbox. We're going to have to defend the inside one more time. Right towards turn 1. Inside line for me, that's where I want to be, thank you very much. And job done, we stay ahead for another lap. If Gasly keeps doing that, I can control that, that's not a problem. Where Gasly needs to get the run is down towards this corner here. So he needs to like give up on the turn 1 overtake and get me into turn 3. And then maybe he might have a chance. Gasly again is going to try it. It's always on the pit straight. He's very close once again, but this time he seems like he's really going for it. He's turning the engine up. Side by side down towards turn 1. And again we defend the inside very nicely. But we haven't had as good of an exit this time. So Gasly will have to run down towards turn 3. Covering the inside here. Gasly's going to try and go the long way round. I'm on the inside, I'm just going to squeeze him out and run him out of road.
There's only 1 lap of fuel remaining.
Join the battle, so it's a 3-horse scrap with 1.5 laps to go for P4, or P5, sorry. Right then, one more time we've got to keep him behind here. So try and get the exit out the final corner. It's not great. Gasly's close, very close this time. Last lap of the race. Gasly around the outside, but we are going to keep the inside line once more. And now Leclerc's going to put Gasly under pressure, which is what we want. We're going to pull away here, which is good. I'll take the racing line, there we go. And Leclerc trying to go around the outside of Gasly, and I think he's pulled it off. That's going to give me the chance now to open up the gap and run away from these two. So there we go then, there's a nice little gap. Leclerc has got in front, although I think they might be side by side in fairness. But Leclerc has got in front of the Red Bull, but we've got a nice gap now. We've pulled out of the DRS range. So there we go, we've done it. defended beautifully, did what we had to do, and we stayed in front. Now we just got to bring this one home, and it'll be a fantastic start to the season. Hamilton has crossed the line, he's won already, but we are going to score 10 World Championship points straight away in Australia in what will be, I believe, our second highest ever finish. We got 4th in Monaco last season, that was our highest and best result. So this will be our second highest result, and it's come in the first race of Season 2. A testament to the upgrades and the improved package here as we go through the final few corners, and it looks like we are going to cross the line for P5 in this race, and what a performance. Race pace wasn't quite there, not as good as it normally is. Normally I'm quicker on race pace, but still, we stood firm, defended well, and we're going to come through for a phenomenal P5, and what a start to Season 2. Get in.
Alright, race over. Take care of the car on the way in.
Yet another historic win under their belts. Well done to the team at Mercedes. Anthony Davidson, how do you think they were able to set themselves apart today?
Well, I think it was clear what the main contributing factor out on the track was today: speed. I know it sounds like an obvious thing to say, Crofty, but fast cars win races, and we saw that today with our winner.
So after a magnificent race, we can now see the drivers making their way to the podium. Once again, it's the Silver Arrows who take top spot, a well-earned victory for Mercedes.
Right, so looking at the final race results here for the opening race in Melbourne, Australia, Lewis Hamilton picks up the W for Mercedes ahead of Max Verstappen, who actually managed to split the the Mercedes in the end, and the Red Bull showing their true pace there. You know, they had a poor start to the race, battling each other, but you could see towards the end, Gasly, he was very quick, and also Verstappen actually splitting the Mercedes straight away and almost nicking the fastest up of the race there. Bottas P3 in the other Merc, and it's a 1-3 for the Silver Arrow. Sebastian Vettel P4 for Ferrari, and the best he could do, really. Ferrari lacking a bit of pace ultimately overall compared to the competition. We come home with a fantastic P5. What a result, what a performance, and we maximised that result as much as we could, beating Leclerc and Pierre Gasly, who both had car issues in this race. So we've done a good job there, and also we beat the rest of the midfield. So Norris, Magnussen and Ricciardo there, both of those guys scoring points in their debuts for their respective new teams, with Albon and Kvyat missing out the points for Toro Rosso, along with Hulkenberg, Giovinazzi, Stroll, Perez, Grosjean, Kubica. And then we've got Sainz and Raikkonen, both McLarens retiring from the Grand Prix. Very surprising result there. And yeah, overall, we dominated, you know, our teammate as well. We really performed well and to an extremely high level. But guys, that is it for the first race here in Australia. We're now going to move into the laptop and do some upgrades because we need to improve the tyre wear. That's becoming a bit of an issue straight away. So we're going to do a tyre upgrade, I think, straight away to improve for the next race in Bahrain. So let's jump into the laptop and let's improve our package.
You really cut your way through the field today. What was your strategy? You really looked in control of your car out there. Your team must be thrilled. Appreciate your time.
Okay, so here we are then on the laptop, and we should be able to do 2 upgrades in this video. So we're going to jump into it, and we're going to go first of all for a tyre wear upgrade, which is of course the main thing we need on the car. And we still have 813 points to spend, so I could go for a second one and go for this weight reduction one, which we should have had for this race, but for some reason it glitched out and it never arrived, so we're going to get that one on the car as well. And we have a remaining 351 points, which I believe we can't spend anywhere, so we're just going to save those and invest them in the next episode. So with this double upgrade, we should overtake Toro Rosso and get very close to Racing Point. So yeah, overall guys, a positive first episode. If you guys enjoyed it, drop a like on the video and also get subscribed if you are new for daily Formula 1 content, and also turn on notifications so don't miss any videos from me. And finally, check out these 2 videos on your screen if you have missed them. But other than that, guys, thank you for watching this episode of Career Mode, and Season 2 is finally underway. But guys, that is it for this one. I'll see you in my next one very soon, but until then, it's goodbye from me.